Hey everybody! Welcome back to the groovy Vaughn Manor. And today, I've got a far out tag for you. Yeah, we're going back in time. Back in time to the year I was born. 1971. Yeah, the fantastic 70s. 70s were pretty far out. So let's go and do this tag. It was created by, well, the normally evil CriminOlly. But he seems to have done something good. I know, I don't believe it either, but he did create this really totally wonderful tag. This far out groovy tag, is the birth year tag, an original tag with a twist. So let's do this tag, because I don't remember what the twist was. So let's find out, shall we? Okay, question 1. Have you read any books published in the year you were born? And this is a multi-part question. If so, what's your favorite and why? And do you have any other favorites? And, multi-part, and if you haven't read any birth year books, which one do you pledge? Do you pledge to read in the next 6 months? And why have you chosen it? I see. He is evil after all. He's extracting an evil pledge from us. He's making us read a book against our wills. You know, that CriminOlly, he's always up to something. So let's answer this question and see which book I pledge to read. Although I guess technically I don't have to pledge to read a book because I have read books from 1971. I'll pledge to read one anyway. It's not like I ever go back on a pledge. Let's see here. Okay, so my favorite book from 1971. Damn, this room echoes. Okay, well, I'll just keep on going. Hey, my favorite book from 1971 is, of course, Richard Matheson's Hell House. I shouldn't put Hell House there. I should put Hell House here. Hell House. Hell House is my favorite book from 1971. Why? Because it's Hell House. Richard Matheson, crazy, scary haunted house book. It's a pretty good one. As far as haunted house books go, Hell House is really, really good. It lives up to its name, Hell House. So that's my favorite book. But there are a couple runners-up. Runner-up number 1 is M. John Harrison's The Pastel City. So The Pastel City is a really interesting fantasy novel. If you've never read it, I recommend you read it because it's awesome. Oh wait, that's the wrong decade. It's far out, man. And it is too. It really is. So The Pastel City. Also, honorable mention to Michael Moorcock's The Warlord of the Air. You know, another masterpiece from the 70s, The Warlord of the Air from 1971. It's pretty good, so that was that. Now, the only book that I haven't read from 1971 that I know I should read, and I'm surprised I haven't read it yet, is William Peter Blatty's The Exorcist. I think it's William Peter Blatty, right? If I'm wrong, I will use futuristic technology and put the text down here, right down here on your television screen. Yeah, in living color too. So yeah, The Exorcist, I'm kind of shocked I haven't read that book, so that's the one. Okay, now, and of course I pledged to read it. You know, I'm real good with pledges. So let's see. What's the next question? The next multi-part question with a possible evil twist. Have you read any books published in the year you turned 18? If so, what's your favorite and why? That would be an easy one. 1989 is the year I turned 18. I know, it was a while ago. The wonderful year of 1989. The only bad thing about 1989 is that after 1989, the 80s ended. And that was lame, because it's all been downhill from there, guys. So, let's see. My favorite book from 1989 is Elric, The Fortress of the Pearl. It is Fortress of the Pearl. Yes, Fortress of the Pearl by Michael Moorcock, which was Elric's triumphant return. Elric had been gone a while at that point, and Elric made his return with the Fortress of the Pearl. So I like that. That was awesome. It was killer, man. Fortress of the Pearl. So that was that, but after that one comes my runner-up, and I don't know why I like this book so much, but I remember really liking it, and I haven't read it since 1989. Arthur C. Clarke's Rama 2, the sequel to Rendezvous with Rama. I remember really liking it. I have to read it again to see if it lives up to that. So that was the runner-up. But let us not forget another book that I liked from 1989, Anne Rice's The Mummy, or Ramses the Damned. The Mummy was a good book from what I remember. Again, I haven't read this book since 1989, so, you know, I'm going to have to reread it, obviously, because every book I've read that I've read when I was that old, I've had a completely different opinion about. You know, it was a while ago, you know, when I was 18. It was, yeah, it was a while ago. I mean, I haven't changed. My hair's a little shorter, but otherwise, I look exactly the same as I did in 1989. It's like I'm some sort of vampire or something. It's crazy. It's like I'm immortal. There can be only one. Let's see. What's the next question? Next question. Question 3. Of the last 10 books you read, how many were published before you were born? What were they? Did you prefer them to the newer books? Okay. If you watch this channel at all, you know I don't read a heck of a lot of new books. I don't read new books like ever. Hardly. I read a couple new books. I haven't read many new books. I think I read one new book last year, maybe. Yeah. Project Hail Mary, I think, might have been the only new one, maybe. I have to look back at what I read last year. But yeah, as for the books, let me go to my next page here. Last 10 books that I read that were from the last 10 books that I read that were published before I was born. Well, this book, Jarrell of Jory here, which I'm just too lazy to go and actually get the physical book. It's in an entirely different part of the estate, man. I don't want to walk all the way over there. So anyway, Jarrell of Jory by C.L. Moore. The book was actually published in 1977, but the stories themselves that are in the book were from the 1930s. So old stuff. And they were great, and I'm going to have a whole video on it when I talk about my first week of February fantasy stories, and I will be doing that next week. When? Thursday, maybe? I'm pretty busy over here at the Manor, man. A lot of stuff going on over here. So that was one. Then there was Caves of Steel by Isaac Asimov, Caves of Steel. That was from 1953. Then there was The Savage Tales of Solomon Kane. Again, this was published. It was over a decade ago that this was published, but the stories are from the 1920s and the 1930s. So again, old stuff from Robert E. Howard, and it's great stuff. Then there was The Fellowship of the Ring, which was published in 1954. Everybody knows this book. It was a fantastic book. Then there was Logan's Run by William F. Nolan and George Clayton Johnson from 1967. A little before my time. Then there was one that's way before my time. There was Doc Savage, The Man of Bronze from 1933. And then there was a wonderful book that I really, really enjoyed, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien from 1937. So, yeah, those books. Okay, so that's that question. What have we got now? What's your favorite movie from your birth year, and why? My favorite movie from 1971. What could it be? What could be my favorite movie from 1971? What could it be? My favorite movie from 1971. Well, I'll tell you. He's hotter than Bond and cooler than Bullet. Shaft. Shaft came out in 1971. And it was a badass movie about a badass dude. Shaft. Just talking about Shaft. Shaft from 1971 was an amazing film. I've seen it. I don't know how many times I've seen Shaft, man. I've seen Shaft a lot. I've also seen, other Shaft movies. Most notably was the one where Shaft goes to Africa. But of course, Shaft was the best. I even saw that Shaft movie that came out in 2000 with young Shaft, who was actually kind of old. But the newest Shaft, the Samuel Jackson Shaft. I saw that. Was there any more Shafts? I think there was another Shaft movie after that, but I didn't see it. But the real Shaft movie is this one. That was the good Shaft movie. So that was Shaft. Just talking about Shaft. And then, of course, the runner-up for 1971 has to be The Omega Man, right? With Charlton Heston. I know it's nothing like the book at all, but it's just so entertaining. It was entertaining. Not a great movie, but I liked The Omega Man. So we're kind of a runner-up. Fine cinema came out in 1971, I'll tell you. So that was that. The next question, what's your favorite movie from your birth year and why? From 1989. Well, there's some serious contenders in 1989. I think it has to go, of course, to Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade was, everybody knows how great that movie was and is. It's the second greatest Indiana Jones movie. But a strong runner-up is Batman. I liked Batman. I liked the first Batman movie from 1989. It was weird. Had a lot of strange Prince songs, which have not aged well. But I liked it. I liked Batman. And of course, let us not forget, a strong runner-up, Tetsu the Iron Man. And if you haven't seen this movie, watch that movie, man. It's something else. Okay, so I think that's it, right? Yeah, that's it. That's all the questions. Now I just have to do some far-out tags here. So what do we got? I'm going to tag a booktuber who's even older than I am, man. That would be Justin at This Just In. I'm tagging Justin at This Just In. And then I'm gonna tag someone who's younger than me, and that would be AJ Dunn Reads and Writes. AJ, tagging you, AJ. And number 3, you can't have a tag like this and not tag this channel. We Damage We, man. We Damage We is amazing. Have you watched that channel? Hey, if you've got 2.5 hours to sit around and watch one video, watch We Damage We, because it's amazing. It's like you watch We Damage We, and it's like just kind of hanging out with like a really cool friend for a while, having a really interesting conversation where you don't say anything. And it's awesome. I love We Damage We. And We Damage We knows movies, for sure. So that's going to be interesting. Number 4, books, songs, and other magic. Books, songs, and other magic. Boom, tagging you. I think he's younger than me too. And number 5 is someone that's definitely younger than me. Working Man Reads. Working Man Reads. I tag you, Working Man. So yeah. That was this groovy tag. Thanks, Evil CriminOlly, for making this fiendish tag with a twist. What part was the twist again? I think it was where he was forcing you to make a commitment to read a book against your will. I think that was it. That's a very CriminOlly move, man. And you have to do it, otherwise he'll break out his death ray that he's got hanging out behind him in some of his videos. Have you seen that thing? It'll burn you to cinders. You got to watch out for CriminOlly. Okay. That was this cool time from 1971. It's too bad it wasn't later in the 70s, because then I could have talked about Starsky and Hutch for like a half an hour, because that was like the best thing from the 70s ever. So I'll catch you here, guys. It probably won't be as groovy. it'll probably be more stately. So I will see you then at Vaughn Manor.